What do you think is the natural reaction that most people have when they feel someone they love start to pull away? That's right, they begin to worry, to panic even. And that fear causes most people to try and take immediate action to tighten their grip and reel that person back into their life. It might start with a simple text asking, something like, "Why are you ignoring me?" Or, "Do you not care about me anymore?" Or maybe they'll start to beg or pester them for attention again. But here's the thing. This is a vicious downward cycle that actually ends up only making matters worse. So that's what I'm going to tell you about in this video. Why your natural reaction to an ex pulling away is the exact opposite of what you should be doing to get them back. And what you need to do instead to ensure that you do get them to re-engage and feel attracted to you again. Let's start with a quick hypothetical example here. This may sound familiar to a lot of you watching, and it's inspired by a story one of my coaching clients recently sent me. So Tony and Jessica broke up 2 weeks earlier after a pretty serious long-term relationship. The details of the breakup aren't really important, but suffice to say that it was more Jessica's idea than it was Tony's. In fact, Tony wasn't ready to give up on Jessica or their relationship. He knew that they'd called it quits too soon, and he felt sure that they could get it right the next time around, if she just agreed to give it one more try. Now, at first, Tony felt like he was making some progress towards changing Jessica's mind about the breakup. She continued to message him, pretty regularly. She even suggested hanging out in person once, and she was both friendly and even a little bit flirty. But then, after around 2.5 weeks, things changed. Jessica stopped reaching out, and her replies to Tony's messages became shorter and colder. It was clear that she was losing interest and slipping away. Now, Tony did at this point what most people would do. He got worried. He felt panicked, as though he had to say or do something immediately to stop her from growing distant and walking out of his life. So he started to text her more often. He proposed meeting up for a drink, and when she didn't respond, he followed up with another message and a voicemail later that day. He asked why she wasn't responding anymore. And after a week or so, he got so desperate that he whipped out the, "Do you not even care about me at all anymore?" kind of message. Now, what do you think that Tony's actions caused Jessica to do? Did she feel more attracted to him, start to second guess the breakup, and begin to re-engage with him? Well, absolutely not. At first, she felt guilty that he was hurt and chasing after her, but that quickly changed to, irritation when he kept pestering her with more and more messages. She probably didn't think this consciously, but she was turned off by his desperation and clinginess. His attempts to, pursue her started to look pathetic. And she became even more convinced that Tony wasn't the one for her, that she could do better. Now, this, folks, is the paradox of attachment in action. The more we pursue somebody, chase after them, and try to clamp down so that they don't slip away, the more that person is going to want space and the less they're going to think of you on a subconscious level. You're killing their attraction for you and lowering your perceived value as a partner, or even just as a human being, by constantly seeking validation and attention and affection. When you chase somebody, you're sending a clear signal that you are lower in value, that you need external validation to feel content, and that you're willing to sacrifice your dignity in hopes of getting their attention. Trust me when I say this is not attractive behavior. It's not going to make this person want to be more around you more often. In fact, it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to push them further away and force them to seek more distance from you. Now, if you do this hard enough or for long enough, it's almost certain to completely kill your chances of reconnecting. Now, I've made at least 2 past videos on exactly this topic. Why you must never chase after your ex if you want them back. I mean, if you just want to get over them and move on, then obviously this is still a bad idea. So really, there's no situation where chasing your ex, pestering them, or begging them is going to accomplish anything. The problem, as I already mentioned, is that this instinct to chase is our natural human reaction. It's hardwired into our brains. When we want something, we go after it. I mean, it makes sense, right? Only when it comes to love, attraction, and getting a second chance with your ex, this natural instinct is guaranteed to make things much, much worse. Now, I'm going to link to the video that I made on this in the description below and in the pop-up here. So if you want a more in-depth explanation of why you can never chase your ex, or really anyone who you want to keep in your life or bring back to you, go watch that video now. But for now, let's move on because I think you understand, that chasing is bad, even if it's our natural reaction and makes total sense on the surface. Now you know not to chase, and you know how damaging pursuing somebody can be to their perception of you and their attraction for you. So let's talk about what to do instead to turn the situation around before it's too late. In other words, what should Tony do to make Jessica change her mind and re-engage so that she'll give him another chance? The first step is, obviously stop the chasing, stop pestering her, and stop showing any kind of neediness or insecurity by asking things like, do you not like me anymore, or anything like that. In most situations, the absolute best thing you can do if you find yourself in this kind of situation is to back away and give your ex or whoever you want to bring back to you plenty of time and space. Literally just, shut down all contact. Or at the very least, stop initiating any communication and be very selective and calculated in deciding, when to respond to their messages. Basically, vanish from their life like a ghost, only reappearing when it's necessary for practical things, or when ignoring them would come across as rude or standoffish. And secondly, look inward. Tony needed to look at himself and his own actions and focus his energies on the things within his control, all while being brave and dedicated enough to let Jessica have plenty of space and start to miss him. He should be trying to block out any thought of Jessica for now and instead work on improving his own life and his own situation, including, his confidence and self-esteem. What that looks like will, obviously depend on your specific situation, but it could be as simple as spending a lot more time with your friends, picking up more shifts at work and trying to secure that promotion, going on a month-long backpacking trip. Whatever it is, all that matters is that you're focusing on yourself and bettering your own situation. And just to reiterate once more, it's essential that you, or in our example, Tony, immediately and completely put a stop to any behaviors that could be perceived as needy, clingy, or insecure. The more you can let go and accept that any attempts to talk your way back into this person's arms will make things worse, the sooner you'll start to rebuild their attraction for you and start to plant the seeds of doubt in the back of their mind. But really, it's all about playing the long game, swapping desperation and insecurity for confidence and self-improvement, all while giving your ex the time and space to let go of negative memories and perceptions of you. And by the way, if you'd like to get my personal help to get a second chance with your ex, just like my client Tony did, you can sign up for my one-on-one coaching at breakupbrad.com/coaching anytime. I'd love to learn about your situation and help you out while you still have time. But for now, let's get back to it. So when you do what I've just recommended, when you back away completely and commit to giving your ex plenty of distance, you're inherently going to do several things. First, you're helping your ex to miss you as much as possible. Remember, you can't miss something that's already in your presence. You're not going to miss your favorite TV show if every episode is available on Netflix for free. You're not going to miss your favorite uncle if he lives next door. So in order for someone to miss you, you need to remove yourself from their life. Now, this can take time. And obviously there is such a thing as too much time or too long a period of no contact, but you should be less worried about that and more worried about reaching out too soon. Because 99% of the time people get impatient and break no contact before it's made a big impact. So that's how you create feelings of longing in your ex's mind, by simply, not being around, by being unavailable, mysterious, and seemingly uninterested in engaging. But more than that, it's a well-established fact that almost all human beings, male and female, are attracted to self-confidence. Not only are confidence and self-esteem attractive, but the mere act of not chasing someone when they're expecting you to do so is certain to reframe how they think of you and how valuable you appear in their eyes. A valuable, highly sought-after person is not going to chase after their ex begging for another chance. They'll have the self-confidence and self-belief to accept the breakup, give their ex the separation they asked for by ending the relationship, and focus on moving on. And as nerdy as it might sound, the research backs this up. Scarcity and self-sufficiency are key elements in building attraction. If you appear strong and confident enough to move on quickly from a breakup, especially when your ex knows it wasn't what you wanted, they'll be more likely to reach out, to find you attractive, and to become the one that's chasing you. And the same goes for scarcity or your absence, which is going to help your ex forget about negative memories and associations, reminisce and, long for those positive, happy things, and start seeking after you. A lot of my clients struggle to accept this when I first explain it, but there is essentially no chance that you'll ever get your ex to take you back unless they believe it's their idea. It has to be a decision that comes from within themselves. A choice that they make based on how they feel about you, your value as a partner, and how attracted they are to you. So you're not going to ever convince them with words and rational logic that getting back together is the right choice. They need to see evidence and feel sufficient attraction and longing for you in order to take that decision on their own accord. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely not suggesting you just disappear from your ex's life and hope for the best. Of course, not chasing your ex, being confident in your self-worth, focusing on your own life after the breakup, maybe even taking, some steps to incite a bit of jealousy. These are all things that you can and should do to help push your ex towards that conclusion, that breaking up was a mistake, that they were wrong about you and your potential future together, and that they should ask you to take them back before it's too late. So while it has to be a decision that comes from within your ex and not something that you can talk them into, you can show them that breaking up and letting you go was a mistake. You can show them that they were completely misguided in thinking that you weren't worthy of another chance. You can make them fear the idea of you moving on quickly, finding somebody new to replace them. And when you do all of these things, you subconsciously push your ex, or whoever it is you want to come back to you, to make that choice on their own. And for the most part, it all happens subconsciously. Most of the time, when I see an ex agree to get back together with one of my coaching clients, such as Tony, their ex genuinely believes that they made the choice on their own and that it had nothing to do with my client's behavior. Now, of course, we know that's not true. If Tony had continued to chase Jessica, further lowered his self-worth and his value in her eyes, and kept begging her to re-engage, she would never have started to feel doubt about the breakup, start to miss him and value what he brought to her life, and wouldn't have changed her mind and asked him to get back together. If you'd like my personal ongoing help with your situation, no matter how desperate or difficult it might seem right now, you can always sign up for my one-on-one coaching and get my opinion, my advice, and my support as we work together to ensure you get your ex back without chasing or making yourself look desperate or pathetic. If you want to learn more about working with me, see how incredibly affordable it is, or sign up to get started today, you can find the link in the description below, or just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching after the video. I'd also encourage you to watch 2 of my recent videos, one of which is all about creating the fear of loss in the back of your ex's mind in order to make them take you back before they lose you for good. And the other video is about all the things that you can do in order to ensure that your ex is missing you as much as humanly possible. I'll link to that one in the pop-up here, and I'll also put links to both of them in the description below. And that just about does it for this one, folks. Just remember, if you feel someone slipping away from you, do the exact opposite of what your instincts are telling you. Back away and give them space. Value yourself and focus on what you can control. And then sit back and wait for them to cave in and come running back to you, begging for your attention and affection. It may sound impossible, but I've been a breakup coach for 15 years, and I've seen this work literally thousands of times for my clients. I hope you'll trust me and you'll take my advice so that it works for you as well. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, spamming, and so on. Good luck out there, and bye for now.